does it mean to have a healthy Quiz back, for this offense, and just kind of what that does for you guys here, going down the stretch of the season?
I mean, it means a lot, man. What he's able to do, just with his size and speed, the pressure he can put on defenses, and if they don't want to respect it, you see, he can make you pay for it down the field vertically. So, he's a guy that may slip between the cracks because he's not getting, 10 targets a game, or he may go a couple games every few weeks with just like one catch or two catches. But you can see he definitely has it. So. If you want to disrespect it, you can go right ahead and he'll just run by you and make plays like what he did last week. So we're going to need him at his best and doing what he did this past game. Obviously had a few that went over his head, and we need to probably convert on a few higher percentage or on a higher percentage of those plays. But I think he's doing a really good job coming back and kind of reestablishing who he is and, what he can do for this offense.
As he started to go off, did you notice the Vikings secondary adjust anything in terms of maybe a little more attention to his side, or did they just play it the same?
I mean, it was a lot of the same of what we've seen. And honestly, at the end of the game, it was less of what you just said and more, I'm not exactly sure what covers they ran on that last on the touchdown he had, but, it felt like cover two, and Harrison kind of just was messing with the coverage and decided he wanted to double me. So any situation we do that and we got Quez running down the middle of the field, we expect, to make him pay for that.
Davante, with a lot of injuries and not as much practice time for guys like Aaron, what's the key, though, with that, getting fast starts in games? With the importance you placed on that last year and the emphasis, it was such a big deal for you. What's the key to doing that despite limited practice starts?
Just communication. I feel like just talking, understanding, what it takes and what we've established over the course of so many years. So we just basically got to communicate and make sure we're talking because, obviously it would help to have everybody be healthy. But with that not being the case, we got to do what we got to do and, find ways to still get out.
Pretty cool to see Jones back at practice. I know limited, but just to see how fast he bounced back. He looked pretty good from what we saw.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like it was obviously wasn't a game or even full speed practice, but just to have him out there moving around is good for everybody's mental, just knowing that he'll be back soon, if not this week. And, I like what I saw from him. I'm not sure what his situation is right now, but, he looked pretty good in some of the, slower periods that we had.
Davante, you mentioned communication. Last week when we were talking to you, you talked about communicating adjustments in game and taking what you see and putting it to use. Were you able to do that more against Minnesota? I know Matt's pretty open to that stuff, but it sounded like it was something you thought was pretty important to start.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Matt made a conscious effort all game to try to, get us involved. The issue is, the personnel we have, with me, and I talked about it a number of times, but with me, 12, 33 when he's healthy, you can't really go off the numbers you see with other teams. So, it may come a time where you feel like you're calling a good play, which it would be typically, but then the way they decide to play us in certain situations is going to be different than other teams. So it's just about, in a sense, getting lucky and calling the right play at the right time. But, yeah, it's tough because it is a little bit of a guessing game, but definitely, we had conversations throughout the game. Matt was definitely in my ear. I was in his ear just to figure out the best way to attack it. But like I said, if we come up with an idea of a way to, we finally got man covered, so then I go to him telling him a route I want, and then, same situation, 3rd and 4 next time, and then they go, middle field open. It makes it tough because now we kind of communicated and couldn't use it on this particular play because of the coverage. Sometimes that'll dictate that the ball go elsewhere. So you just got to keep communicating, keep the open line of communication, and find a way.
Do you have anything special for Jalen Ramsey after that, as an encore after that touchdown last season?
You said, do I have anything special?
Anything special for him this week?
I mean, I plan on having something special every week for whoever we're playing. So I'm not really looking at it as the heavyweight bout that everybody did last year. So in that game, we had limited amount of opportunities where we were even going one-on-one, just based off of obviously we move around a lot, so that's a part of it. And then their idea of stopping me definitely wasn't just to go one-on-one, clearly, because that didn't happen a whole lot in the game. So, so whatever it is, it's all of us versus their defense. It's not going to be the Davante Adams, Jalen Ramsey show. I mean, I would love if it was, but that's just not the way that defenses have shown that they're going to play us. So until that happens, then we can, talk about it as much as we want. But for now, we just going to focus on trying to get a win.
Does it mean a little something extra, though, when you're able to get a guy like that frustrated, as frustrated as you're able to get him after that touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what you want. You want them to see guys, turn on each other or not communicating in situations like that, because you can obviously see it starts to mess with them. And once you start going at each other, then, it puts you in a tough spot, whether you're on offense or defense. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll have some good stuff to go at them, but, we'll see how they decide to play us as well.
As an elite wide receiver, obviously your words carry weight. We've asked you a lot about some other elite wide receivers in the last few weeks. Obviously, you watch more film of the defenses, but how much do you enjoy watching the other masters of the craft at the receiver position, and what have you thought of Cooper's?
You're talking about the Masters as far as around the league or their team?
Around the league of the receivers.
Well, I mean, we could start with Cooper because, I said it last year. I tweeted out during, I was watching the Bucs game, and he was running. He had a few different choice routes on those guys, and just seeing the way he was moving, it kind of gave me an in-depth look at what he's been doing. And I think that, people were kind of sleeping on him before. Hopefully that tweet woke him up a little bit, and then if not, the year he's having definitely is doing that. So he's a great player, man. His quarterback has always got his eyes over there looking for him too, so that helps him out a lot. And they definitely built up a quick, little 1-2 punch over there. But it's fun to watch him. And just like I said with Justin, I'm hoping that it's not that way against our team, but it's definitely fun to watch and see him go out there, have fun, and make plays.
Yeah, with the answers you've given on these receivers that have been so insightful, is it just film you're picking up watching other defenses and you see these guys there, or do you seek out film of the great receivers around the league and make a point of watching or highlighting?
Yeah, anybody that's doing something that, is something that we should take notice of, I get on my iPad. So obviously I see it when I'm watching, I'm prepping for other defenses, and I see the film that he's putting up against them. So that's part of it, but I got a pretty good cut up on my iPad of just some of the different guys that I watch to try to take a few different things from. If it's not that, then it's seeing how they responded to another elite receiver and how they played them versus a guy who maybe they weren't as worried about. So I love watching film. It's like I always think about my film as my silent movie. It's really what it is. It's not, there's no audio, there's no announcers when you watch a film. It's just you, and it's up to the person watching it to kind of dictate how they feel about it. So you got to go out there and show it with your action. So when I go and watch these other guys, I just look at it as their silent movie. So it tells me a lot about the receiver and the DBs.
Do you ever hear from other receivers in the league that have you on their iPads?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I've been hearing it more and more indirectly, actually, which is kind of more special. Because, if you have a relationship with a guy, obviously all the guys in here, they're watching my film. But, I'm here in front of them, talking to them all the time. So when it's a guy that talks about, they just ask him, or on the top 100, like Terry McLaurin saying he watches my film, stuff like that is dope. Because, obviously I'm getting older, so people telling me all type of wild stuff. They watch my film growing up and stuff. I'm like, that's crazy to hear. But it's awesome just to, feel that, because it's the same way with me. Like I tell them, I watch your film too. I see some of the things you're doing, some of the plays, and I think I throw them off sometime just based off of how specific I get with it, because I watch so much film that I'll tell them about something that they maybe thought nobody would have ever even noticed. So, it's definitely a game. I just feel like it's kind of our responsibility to show appreciation for one another, because when you fully invest in your craft and you take so much pride in what you do, I feel like that's letting a guy know, because that's kind of in a way positive reinforcement to let them know, keep going, keep that type of thing going, whether they're up here or a guy that just got in the league, because I want to push that. I want the young wideouts to understand what it takes to really be a great wideout in this league. It's not just the speed. It's not just there's so many things that go into it that are non-combine, and that's what they make you feel like that's what you have to excel at, all those type of things. But if you work at your craft, you can have me, you can have a rookie, whoever watching your film. So, yeah, it's an expanded answer, but that's definitely, I try to push it to make sure everybody knows that, the good things they're doing out there is being seen.
Yeah, I wanted an expanded answer, and now I'm going to ask for more. Sorry.
Perfect. Perfect.
What's your setup at home? Because Mercedes was telling us that he was at your house one day watching film. I'm sure you want to be home with Dev and be with your family. So do you have like a separate room? Like you have a film room at your house? What's your setup?
I do. It is actually over the past like month I turned it into the film room, and it was the game room. That's where I got my Xbox and where I would get down there. I got my whole setup and desk and all the stuff necessary to get in there and play some Call of Duty. But I don't really do that no more. Got kids and stuff, so I'm more locked in on the film. That's more my workstation now. So that's really what I use it for. So I go downstairs, hop in the dungeon, and just get in my mode.
We have not been in the locker room forever, so my exposure to Yash was just from his rookie year. He's in a pretty important spot now again.
Yeah.
What has your experience been like with him, and what kind of glimpses can you give into what kind of guy he is?
Yash is a great dude, man. I can't remember if I talked to you guys about it, but what game was it? I think it was the Niners game. He's walking by me, and I did mention that to you, right? Yeah. Where he said some stuff like, I just really appreciate it. I'm having such a great time out here with you guys. That right there is Yash in a nutshell, man. Just fully aware of the moment, just living in the moment, appreciating it. Really hard worker, great guy, man of faith. So I love him, man. He's a great teammate, great guy to just have around. He's on my block, my locker block. He's at the end. So I always, get to spend time, talk to him. So he's a great dude. And like I said, he's a really hard worker, and it means a lot to him. And he brought a whole new dynamic. He did like a robot when somebody scored a touchdown earlier this year, and he came over doing the world's biggest robot. He kind of looked like Damon from Friday After Next when he did it. That's really what it reminded me of. But yeah, that's really who he is. So we love him, and it's great that you got a guy like that can step up. And he didn't have much experience before this year, so to step up and do the things that he did, we're definitely proud of him.
Davante, when J.O. is putting that play in where Randall takes the inside handoff, then pitches it to A.J., I know you have some quarterback background as well. Are you campaigning to be that guy who tosses it? And what's kind of going through your head when you see something creative like that being put in the game plan?
I like it. You never know, because we don't really do the whole the trick 'em type scheme like that. We're not really about that. We may fake a handoff and then throw it back to the back on some stuff like that, but we don't really do the flea flickers and all the cute stuff that maybe like the Chiefs do every week. And that's not a shot at the Chiefs, because it works a lot of time for them too. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I'm not lobbying for me to be a part of that. I'll leave that to Cobb. I've to this day never thrown a live pitch like that, so I like to think I'll be able to get it done, but we'll leave it to Cobby for that, and maybe I'll throw a ball or something like that down the road. So we'll see what Matt got in store for us.
Anything else? Sarah, we got time for one on Zoom here.
Hey, Devontae, you kind of touched on it earlier about not getting a chance to match up with Jalen Ramsey a bunch, and the recent interview that came out where he said that by his count, he only matched up about 5 times, but in his words, he could tell that you were like that. How much emphasis did you give about him on that side? And on the second part, what is the most overrated Thanksgiving food and why? 2 totally different questions, but that's what I got for you.
Okay, yeah. Definitely different ballparks on that, but
Yes, sir.
well, I'll start with the one that I would rather answer. I say dressing is my my go-to. That's the most underrated, dressing, or some people call it stuffing. That's my go-to. That and sweet potatoes or yams. That's probably I would like more, but if I really could only have 2 things, I'd probably go with those 2. Maybe some smothered turkey if I could sneak that in there. Now for this Jalen Ramsey question. What was the question again?
Yeah, my fault. So he just said, in the 5 plays, he told that you were like that. How much of a sense did you get?
Oh, yeah.
In that short amount of time?
Yeah, I'm like that. So Jalen Ramsey is obviously a very talented player, and I got a lot of respect for what he's doing, and he plays into his strengths really well. I do agree what he said. We definitely didn't get a whole lot of matchups. I'm not exactly sure what what went into that. Like I said, it's a little bit of both of our scheme. So I'm moving around a lot, and I don't really know how that would go with them because they're not a big man coverage team. So he's obviously not going to follow me. He may pre-align to that side, but it's not a whole lot of times he'll end up following me to the other side. So we didn't get a whole lot of matchups, one-on-one matchups that we would have or I wanted, but. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's a great player. As far as his one-on-one ability, I can't gauge that because I didn't, my sample size is not where I would like it to be from that game. So we'll see coming out of this game. But like I said, a lot of respect for him as a player, really aggressive player, and he definitely knows how to play his game. And yeah, that's all I'll say.